I've got a big nub. Okay.
Good evening and welcome to episode 6 of the fantastic podcast we've got going on here. And this evening we've got a full house. That's right, we've got everybody in here tonight. So let's just get this over and done with. Let's get the introduction away. I'm joined, my name is RSF1 Tomo, or everybody calls me so many different names, I don't care anymore. I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend that is Peppermeat.
Sorry.
We've got, of course, Primus, good evening.
Hey, Primus.
All right.
And
hello, lads.
And finally, last but not least, we've got Top Notch.
Top crotch. Hi all.
Top Notch. Right, before we get started, I've got to get this out of the thing because somebody approached me this week again with a little bit of bad news. Got a little bit of bad news, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Listen, Peppermeat, I don't like to do bad news, but apparently it's about our own podcast member, Primus. Apparently, his good friend, his best buddy, Spiral, was very upset with him because apparently he's been two-timing him with a new startup. I know. It was brought to my attention, man. I had to stop him. He was in tears. He was beside himself. Absolutely beside himself. It's unbelievable. Primus, how could you?
Yeah, could you?
Explain yourself.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Fucking...
I'm just like, what's going on?
You're such a tease to him.
Like, what's going on
tease
here?
him.
I'm going to have a word with you after
opens
this.
up for you. You're like, go away, man. I've got myself a new man.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes. So apparently, I just wanted to get the podcast off to a bit of a sad note, but there you go. Anyway, so we've got quite a few things to get through tonight. Let's talk about obviously one of the most fastest tracks that we've actually had in the calendar, second to obviously Austria. We had Monza this week, and it was interesting. Is probably the best way I could describe it. So we'll start with F2, which was on Sunday, and we had Primus and Bodder commentating. Primus, you had the opportunity of watching the guys in F2 on Sunday around Monza. How did you find it?
Well, first of all, it was exciting to hop into Monza, as you know. Theoretically, for most of the divisions, it is the last race of the season. So everyone was looking strong. We got our good old friend Skunk Burner back, who was gone after a handful of weeks away. So it was good to have him back. Load of action that took place in the race, going on. And it was really gripping, really. But Skunk Burner definitely took the real surprise because I think he started near on the midfield, so I think about 12th, I think Skunk qualified. And he put on such an amazing performance of like skill of overtaking and strategy calls, and Skunk came out on top and won the race, and also took driver of the day. And also what was surprising is his closest friend Magic Marks came second in the Racing Point, and Shane actually got his second podium of the season. So it was a double Racing Point knockout.
Whoa, hold on a minute. What?
Yeah,
you got
both Racing Points got on the podium.
Unbelievable. I demand a drugs test right there because he's been absolutely rubbish most of the season, and 2 podiums in a row. Oh.
He's on something. He's on something.
He's on something, but I don't know what
Picked
it
up his
is.
game.
Well, actually, funny enough, it's got something to do with the fact that obviously, apparently, he has these video calls with Peppermeat. You get him excited again, Peppermeat?
Yeah, I got him excited for the race. I did, and he got
Yeah.
Well, whatever you're doing with him, it's working because that's the second podium he's managed to get.
Yeah, went right to his helmet. That did. Went right to his helmet.
Fuck. Which one?
Which one? Yeah. But the one he's holding, not the other one.
Oh, Jesus, he's holding both at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgraceful. How is he doing? Well, you know what I mean. He's a man of many talents.
He drives like he is anyway.
He's probably sitting there in the background. I'll probably get nothing but a mouthful of abuse from him later on anyway. But, where did you finish in the race then, Peppermeat?
I finished P10, I think. That wasn't a great race. The hards were
That's still a
absolutely
point.
shocking.
Were they?
Absolutely shocking. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd slam on the brakes at the end of the long straight and nothing would happen. It was absolutely dreadful. So that was my race. Really bad.
So we had, I did double duty this week because I commentated in 2 races. I had the pleasure of commentating F1 with, funny enough, we just mentioned him, Shane. That was interesting, to be perfectly honest. But we were treated to a masterclass, really, perfectly honest, from the F1 drivers. Few drivers did crash out, I have to say. There was a few interesting decisions, but in the end, but the greatest thing was, okay, and obviously we had the Williams. So Q1 and Q2, Williams were doing absolutely superbly, working together in tandem, giving each other a tow around the track and getting really fast in slaps, right? Okay, happy days. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a system glitch on that night, which took us. It was 45 minutes before we could actually start the race, and Dyslexic unfortunately couldn't actually join Tier 3. Q3. So Ben, in his defence, did a fantastic first lap. Then he decided to go faster, and he was 3 tips quicker before he literally bottled it and destroyed the car in Q3. Sorry about that, Ben. You're probably sitting there going, "Oh, shut up, Tomo." But it's true. It's what happens. So we got to watch the race. It was a fantastic race, really, really good. We had a bit of a battle between 3 wide going into the, I think it was like lap 4, lap 5, and we lost a few drivers here and everywhere, and it was just dropping like everybody. But in the end, I think when we were looking at it, Unity was sitting in. I believe he was sitting out of the points, and then he got 8th place because Mr. Pigeon got a podium. I believe it was. I'm trying to remember who the other two drivers were. Actually, enough. Can you remember who won the other
I've got the standings here. Danny in the Red Bull came 3rd. Mr. Pigeon Munch came 2nd, and Bamba Viking actually won the race.
That's right. Yes, it was Bamba Viking because he had literally. He had Danny all over him, and I think it was Danny, or I think it was because Danny was. Bamba Viking was doing a fantastic race, and he was really, really holding on to the last couple of laps. And then, excuse me, unfortunately, for who was chasing him down, made a mistake, and he gave the win to Bamba Viking. But in fairness to him, had a really great race. Danny, with all his penalties, still managed to finish 3rd, and out of nowhere, Unity Hash, who was sitting out of the points at one point, managed to squeeze through and get into 8th place. So that was a really good performance for him. But it was a really good race for F1. I mean, did you guys watch it?
I didn't see it, no.
Didn't really get the chance to watch it fully. But it did look pretty close, though. To be honest, I didn't have too much time to watch over the race today because I was quite busy over the week. So I went through qualifying.
Yes, grooming your new friends. Yes, we heard.
It's quite an intense start. Yeah.
He was grooming his new friend, wasn't he? He was grooming his new friend.
Shut up, pair of you. But yeah, it looked like a really good race. Great drive from both the Red Bulls. Obviously, because they both had penalties, it did sort of let their performance down a little bit. But still, nonetheless, without the penalties, they did an outstanding job in Monza as well. And it was a really, really good race.
Yes, it was. Definitely, without a shadow of doubt. I thought it was fantastic as well. So we did a very good job. So, saying that though, we then moved to F3, and I have to say, F4. Sorry, thank you, F4.
You do this every week.
I know, but I'm making sure I'm keeping you informed. You know what I mean? Because I am getting old, apparently. So I've been told. We'll come to F3 in a minute. What I was going to say, more importantly, Promise you had a race to forget. Spiral had a race to forget. I had a race to forget.
I had a race to forget.
You had a race, yeah. But we had 3 new, what was it? 3 new drivers. We had Alco Saints.
Ooh, we got some new members.
Yeah, all right, settle down. You know what I mean? That would keep that. That is just. Is that for Spiral? Is that just to get a bit of a throw out to Spiral? Was it?
Yeah, it was a throw out to Spiral then.
It was a throw out to Spiral, wasn't it? So I mean, who was the top 3 actually in F4 on Wednesday? Primus.
Well, Tidgosaurus got first place because at the beginning of my race I was having problems with another person who was completely spamming me with invites. I accidentally jumped the start by like barely even half a second. I got a drive-through penalty. Had to serve that instantly because I felt if I would have left it out any longer I would have, fell even further back. Tidge won the race. I came second, and Dude Eagle actually came third. And the driver of the day actually was decided to be Timonike. But it may have been a race for me to forget in a manner, but like I still did an amazing drive. I had just amazing pace around Monza. When I went from first to dead last back to second in my race. So it may have been horrible for me because I did lose the chance on getting a win, but after, contemplating on it a little bit, second place, I'm not going to say that's a bad deal, if I had a few more laps ahead, maybe I would have caught Tidge, but I could have DNF'd, could have finished further down, but second place, I'm still in the fight in the championship. It's quite close, so it's not too much of a race to forget, but it was kind of frustrating given the circumstances I was under.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were commentating that you was absolutely mega quick in the hard tyres, and they couldn't understand where you was getting your pace from the hard tyres. They were saying that I had people actually getting in touch with me to ask you in the podcast, was you taking drugs? Where did the adrenaline come from?
Well, if I took drugs, how would that affect the tyres?
Even Spiral turned around and said to me, whatever he's taking, I'll have him right now.
I'll have it.
Yeah, I'll have it and I'll have him.
What I gathered, after my disappointing finish in Belgium, I immediately got on to Monza to practice. Softs were really nice in terms of grip. The mediums were terrible, and the hards felt really good. It was almost like Hungary all over again. The hard tyres feeling the best. But I just thought, you know what? People were going for medium to hards, hards to mediums, or maybe even soft to hards. But very few people actually copied my strategy on going from softs to the hards. And even after taking a drive-through penalty and going all the way down to the back of the grid, I managed to punch my way through everyone, cleanly, overtaking them, and then getting into the pit, slapping on the hards, and then still managing to punch my way up the grid. I just had really good performance, and a 120 dead back in qualifying. The second fastest time was 3/10 slower, so I had real form. And, I'll look forward to Monza again in the second season. But, yeah, it was a really good race day.
Hold on a minute. Actually, hold on a second. There is something I want to shout out, actually, because I did forget one other thing, all right? And I think, Peppermint, you could probably join me on this one as well. And will you stop playing about in your desert top notch? I was wondering when I was going to kick into it. It's like... Mr. T was promoted to F2, and he had his first race and actually finished 4th in his first ever race in F2. So, you know what?
Nice.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
There you go.
Have to give him the tea.
That is for you. Because I just saw on the stream, he was like, "Oh, don't say anything about me. Thanks." You know what I mean? So I thought, you know what? It's absolutely right. There you go. All right, that's for you, Mr. T. All right, okay. So
Just for you.
I do actually have to give him a shout out for being the race engineer. Oh, someone's at the front door. Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll let you guys take over for F3.
It's Spiral.
You guys have to bear with me. I'll have to answer that. But you carry on with F3. I'll be one moment.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. That's it. Do you know, it would be actually funny if Spiral actually was there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Laffy left his mic on by mistake, and you hear, "You get."
Right, anyway, so Peppermeat, if you don't mind reading out the tweets, guys, please send out messages into the actual chat. We'll try and get everything out. And obviously, if you have any questions for our guests later on tonight, please send them in. The more people we've got coming in and stuff like that would be great and all that sort of stuff. So, congratulations and thank you very much. Now, let's get to F3 because it was well. It started off very interesting. Then we had a problem with the stream. Unfortunately, Revster had a bit of a problem and had to leave. I then stepped into the streaming chair for the first time. So it wasn't Spiral. Oh, okay. That was quick. I was going to say, was it like, there you go, happy days. Anyway, so basically, I stepped in the streaming chair for the first time. Apparently, it was really, really good. Ben joined on commentary with me. It was good to have him back again because we commentated last year for another level. I know we don't really mention the other leagues in this podcast, but I thought I'd mention it because we did commentate last year. And we were treated to a wet race in Monza for F3, which was really interesting. I've had a lot of feedback in the Discord about it, about the commentary, and people were absolutely crying with laughter. To a point where I had Man with the Cash, I had Jake crying with laughter because I was doing impersonations at an element. So it
to
was
be fair,
Lesbo's got
everyone
me.
loves that impression. You know,
Lesbo's had me laughing.
you had me crying when I watched that. It's
Well,
really good.
Apparently, I've got the impression down to an absolute T because basically what it was. We were trying to keep an eye on what's going on. We was trying to keep. Obviously, it's very difficult. And to be perfectly honest, I've got to give credit where credit is due to the streamers, and that goes to you, Primus, and also the other streamers as well. It is really, really difficult to commentate, as well as trying to keep an eye on all the action that's going on because you don't know where to take it, whether it's going to be at the front, middle, or the back. Unfortunately enough, coming to the last part of the race, we had a really good battle between Element and our good mate, my good buddy Bodder. And for 5-6 laps, they were battling each other literally, and I was literally trying to do impersonation of Bodder as well as doing impersonation of Element. And I was sitting on the stream last night. I said. And everyone was like, what? Because Ben was just dying with laughter. He couldn't stop laughing. He just said to me, he goes, where's this voice come from? And I said to him, it's because he's like the combination of Cartman and Brian Johnson going for an angry piss. It's unbelievable to you. Yeah,
like,
Brian.
Oh my god.
That's what I called him. I was like, all right, Brian. He's like, Brian, what the hell are you doing? It was quite amusing. But anyway, the funniest one was Camo. So everybody, obviously, we're on wet tyres and, everybody's doing very well. And then all of a sudden, Porter, fair play to him, hello, Timer fans, decides to pull in and get to the intermediate straight away and starts catching up with everybody. So everybody starts jumping in. Camo, on the other hand, does jump in to get a set of inters, but as he's driving around, the left side of his car is showing wets, and the right side of his car is showing inters.
Wait, what?
So it's I know. It was really, really unbelievable. So it was actually quite funny. So, so obviously a lot of people were actually on the chatting. So, Pepmate, anybody, anything you want to shout out while you're watching the chat?
Yeah, Flaming says shout out to Botta. So shout out to Botta. Flaming says he also needs to work on racing, not qualifying. Not just qualifying. So there you go.
Yes,
That's
he does.
really.
Or as we call him, I'm Batman.
He's always nervous, he said. He's always nervous.
Well, basically, he was the worst kept secret in RSF1 because everybody was like, who is this I Am Groot? And it was like, I'm Batman. Because it was like, literally, he was like Flaming. Everybody was like, it's Flaming, but he's coming into a different name. Nobody knows it's Flaming, but we all know. So, It was quite amusing.
The thing is, he revealed it before the race, like in the driver's lounge, and it's almost like Bruce Wayne's like slight muck-up. So it's like, "I'm Bruce Wayne." Oh crap! I'm Batman.
Exactly,
And then you're just like, "Oh, it's like, well, too late. We know you're Bruce."
Oh man, sorry. You hear that? I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
So,
Oh my God.
apparently DPS.
I'm an F4.
Yeah. I'm an F4. I'm Groot, but I'm really Batman. So pretty much. But yeah, apparently some people did, some people didn't. I did. Rebster did as well, and it was quite amusing. So, obviously we've now got a very tough track coming up, Singapore. So let's go around the room here. Let's go around the table. Let's start with you, Top Notch. We'll start with you first, actually. You looking forward to Singapore? You're not looking forward to Singapore? Where you're at on this one?
Well, considering I weren't really looking forward to Monza, and I finished 4th.
Ahead of your teammate, by the way, as well.
Yeah, he had a bad one. He got some ridiculous penalties.
I'll tell you. Yeah, actually, do you know
penalties.
what? Can we just stop right there? Because I forgot to mention that. You know what I mean? Good old Moronics. Ozzy calls himself RSF1 Hamilton now. Literally got himself 22 10-second time penalties on the game.
What?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that
he
was
got
crazy.
2 10-second time penalties
How?
on the game.
Cheating bastard.
He's a cheating bastard. That's what.
Cheating gits.
We just, because obviously while we're sitting there watching Edelman going there, oh my God, it's fucking all that stuff. While this is all going on, there's Monix going there. All right, there's a corner. Oh no, I've gone too deep. Oh, I've got 10-second penalty. Don't worry about that, man. You know what I mean?
That's
just got
harsh,
cracking
though.
on. It wasn't
funny
really hard,
because-
I have to
5 seconds,
say.
but 10.
That's funny because in the party before the race, I said I'm going to be counting on people having penalties. You know, I'm going to try and keep it clean and try and just finish reasonably high up and get a few people.
Little
at the
did you
end.
know
Well,
that
do you
it
know
was
what?
your
He
own
did-
That's
teammate.
crazy.
Yeah, he did actually keep it clean. Yeah, no, wait, he didn't swear. He didn't swear. That's the only
That's what we
clean
like
thing
to
he
see.
kept out of it. So, no, in fairness, I mean, it wasn't just him who got 10-second penalties. It was quite a number in F3, actually. But the problem is, when you're driving down the long straight in the wets and the intermediates, you've got, I think a lot of people were forgetting
Got caught out
that you
by
got. You know, they did. A lot of people got caught out by it. So it wasn't just
I
Alex,
think-
it was a lot of people. as well.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, really. Like you'd be braking 50 meters before the sign that you'd normally brake at, and it just wouldn't stop. Like it was crazy, and you know you're worried about people braking late behind you, so you're trying to brake as late as possible, as not to have them concertina into you. It's really tricky.
Very true. Very true.
One of the hardest races I've done.
So anyway, going back to the original question, now that we've got that out of the way, God bless you, Moronics, I'll probably get nothing but, Tomo, I can't believe you just said that, but I mean, you know what I mean? What's your thoughts about Singapore? I know you just said, like, obviously you finished higher than your teammate, 4th place. Oh, actually, speaking of which, sorry, before we carry on, we've got to mention the winners as well, because Route 915, Resner, and of course, I know he's in the chat because he's already in there, Mr. DPS Racing got 3rd as well, didn't he, for the McLarens?
Flaming
That was
says,
pretty good.
Request for Tomo, bedtime story, please. There you go.
Bedtime story, please. Yes.
Yeah.
One
And then,
morning, a young lad named Flaming woke up and went, I'm Batman. The end. Right, there you go.
Yeah.
No, he went, I'm Groot.
I'm Groot. But mentioned it, when I turned around and went, yeah,
I'm Groot, man.
I'm Arnie.
Come on, you bastard me.
Mr. Excitement.
I said Flaming, not you, Pepper mate. Anyway,
Oh,
so
sorry.
sorry, Top Notch. I apologise. So yeah, so moving forward, Singapore. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm quite confident. Keep it nice and clean again, and try and have a good qualifying's the thing. Trying to have a good qualifying and not make any mistakes. You know, it's hard to read that when you're in that situation. So it's just getting good qualifying and have a good clean race. I enjoy the track, so that's a plus on Monza.
Good. Heavy.
Yeah, I like it. It's my favourite out of street tracks. I'm not really a fan of street tracks, but Singapore under the lights, can't beat it. So looking forward to making a comeback from the disaster that was Monza. And I feel bad for my teammate Patronus as well. Sorry. He was in a
Captain Negative. You know what I mean? Because
Negative,
apparently after I literally had a problem in Belgium, somebody went onto the stream and changed his name to Kent Barrymore. As you know what I mean? So obviously to turn around and say that apparently I licked the barriers all the time, and unfortunately, yes, I had a bit of an issue with a barrier in Monza. So let's just move past that.
Move past that.
Huh? Yeah, we'll
move past that then. Yeah,
we'll lick past that. Primus, Singapore.
I'm looking forward to Singapore. It's I agree with Peppermeat in it being one of the best street circuits. I do personally really like Singapore. It'll be good. It'll be a good track to fight on. I know the battling will be intense because there's not too many overtaking areas in Singapore. So you never know. We might have a clash in the race, Tomo.
Hopefully,
not literally, but just battling for positions because it'd be like Britain, when there's just we was both dead even in pace. We was just putting pressure, defending, attacking. Unfortunately, for the past handful of races, we just haven't had that opportunity to really have that battle again. I mean, when we was in Monza, obviously, don't mean to remind you of it, but like I was catching, and then when your Ferrari got caught, I was just sort of like, I was a bit bummed in a way. I mean, it was good for me because it made up a position that I needed, but like I wanted to fight as well because I had a good couple of fights with the Racing Points, the Toro Rosso. I was hoping to chuck in the odd Ferrari there, but just it'll happen next week.
Yeah, thanks for that, Promise. I appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Not.
You lost me at bummed. I heard him saying he got bummed, and I don't know why I lost it.
Stop banning one out.
Mind out the gutter, Peppermeat.
Yeah.
Mind out the gutter.
Mine's always there.
So anyway, to be perfect, Singapore. I don't know. Actually, I'll have to do a lot of practicing. I've got a couple of setups I need to work on. But I'm looking forward to it. It's probably going to be a nice track. But we've got a couple of decent tracks coming up, so and we'll move forward from there. So hopefully it will be an interesting sort of battle. Now, I think it's time to get our special guest in. We are missing one at the moment. I know he is coming. Not like that, promise. Didn't say anything, you know what I mean? But
I'm about to say something.
Yeah. I have got one who, and I've also got the mystery guest. So I'm just going to hold fire for a little bit before we invite these guys in, because obviously we got to take some questions from the guys in the actual chat. I know there's a few guys in the chat that want to send out some questions. No bedtime stories for you, I'm Batman, because you're not having it. But there's a couple of things that actually, fun enough, before we get to the questions, there are a couple of things I want to shout out, actually, moving forward. So let's get these over to the way. We are going to have, in the next couple of weeks, a Irish-themed podcast. The Scottish one went down absolutely. A lot of people came back and said it was absolutely amazing. The bagpipes and everything like that. The guys were brilliant, and it was absolutely a really good laugh, wasn't it, lads? Last week, the podcast last week. We are going to have an Irish one.
Thank God.
2 weeks after that, we'll have a German-themed podcast as well. So we have the Germans in. Obviously, we'll hopefully have Paul Turn 4. Obviously, some other Germans as well. Hopefully, they'll join us. And then after that, in a couple of weeks, I'm hoping, so next week, okay, because obviously, and I think it's only appropriate that we do it, we will be holding a special podcast, not next week, the week after, sorry, in the next 2 weeks. So I might have to move the Irish one back, no disrespect to the guys. But obviously, we've got, no, it's only, and there's a reason why. There is a reason why. It's not next week, but the week after is Remembrance Sunday. Okay, so we remember all the brave souls that fought for us for all our freedom and stuff like that. We will be holding a very special podcast on Friday to also talk about the actual. Not only talk about what happened in the race before, but we'll also be literally having a minute's silence beforehand for all the brave souls that literally gave their lives at World War II, so that we can actually be living in well, obviously for the freedom we actually love and stuff like that. I've got family in the forces, so I do hold it quite close to my heart. I don't know about the rest of you guys. What's your thoughts?
My great-grandfather served in the First World War.
Right, okay, there you go. Top notch.
Yeah, one of my grandfathers served in one of the World Wars. I believe it was the Second World War.
Peppermint?
Yeah, I'm alright with that. Okay, should be a good podcast.
It will be. So, it will be so we're going to do that. I think it's only fair we should do that. We've got that coming up, and obviously we've got the German one coming up. And also we're going to have a Christmas podcast as well. I am actually working on that as we speak. We will have some special guests that we've had in already previously, and hopefully get some good laughs. And it will probably be, I'm trying to see if I can try and either do an hour or maybe a 2-hour special podcast where we might actually have a really, really good laugh. So, but anyway, Secret Santa, says Flaming. Secret Santa?
Secret Santa?
How can we do Secret Santa on the podcast? We can't do Secret Santa on the podcast. What's the
I just throw my present for Peppermint at the TV screen and just hope it goes through and comes out his screen.
Yeah.
Just
catch! Oh shit, that's my TV is broke.
Shit, broke it. Got a warranty. It's all right.
Actually, do you know what? What we should do is we should all buy each other. We should all buy one Secret Santa and just pretend who it is.
Plugs.
And actually just grab it and just pretend and just obviously let this person guess what it is. And it was like, fuck no, Peppermint. It's a black dildo. What's this for?
I was going to say I don't want no gift.
That's for Sundays.
Video calls.
These are all getting.
Yeah, no video calls. Yeah. No, that's for him, for Shane.
Yep. I don't want.
He already has
that.
7.
Thank you.
That's him for Shane, I'm telling you. But no, we're going to try and do. As I said, we are going to do a Christmas podcast this year, and we will try and see. I don't think an hour is going to be long enough. I think we'll try and do a longer podcast because obviously we will probably be pretty much. Probably near to the nitty-gritty end of the championship for the season, actually, for RSF1 as well. And obviously, moving forward as well, hopefully we will get some stuff happening regarding, obviously, what's happening next season. I'm trying to speak to the actual community, to see if they're going to do any awards for this year. So there's a lot of things happening in the background, so I'm trying to get sorted out. So I will keep everybody updated on the podcast. This is the reason why we did the podcast every week. We want to try to keep everybody up to date as well, and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully we will do that. Yes, as well as having a laugh. So you know what I mean. So but hold on a minute. Let's just see if this guy's here, and if he is, he'll be joining us. So, without further ado, let's get these two guys in here, because I think we've gone a little bit over our time, but that's fine. So, first and foremost, let's get this young man in. He came back into the actual RSF1, and it is brilliant to have him back. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. My special boy, Junior.
Hello.
God bless him.
Good evening.
Good evening. Make sure you click the box for the audio. And I'm waiting to find out where your old man is, Junior.
Yeah, he won't be joining, mate. He's not going to be home until later, unfortunately. So.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, in that case, then. Well, I've saved it. Well, I've got somebody that you'll enjoy. You'll enjoy this one, Junior, because I've got a mystery special guest. I said I had a special guest, mystery special guest. I've invited him back for a podcast because there's a reason why I've done it. So, and he'll be coming in sooner or later because I believe you two know each other from many moons ago.
Okay.
So let's see if he joins us.
He sounds quite creeped out.
Well,
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend, is it?
Hey, well.
No, it's not an ex-girlfriend.
He should be.
Actually, yeah. Guess who it is? No, it's not her. That would be quite good,
If you
wouldn't
if you could name any of my ex-girlfriends, I'd be surprised.
Well, funny you should say that, mate. But one of them actually got in touch with me earlier and said, "Did you tell that wanker?" No, you didn't say that. She didn't say that. So I'm waiting.
Sure, it wasn't one of your ex-girlfriends.
Nah. I don't speak to my ex-girlfriends, mate.
You can have
That's
my
the whole
sloppy
point.
seconds, mate. I don't mind.
Cheers, dude. Much appreciated. Thanks for that, man. I really appreciate it. Come on, where are you? Come on, what's the matter?
Come on, you come on.
Look, I know he's online because I can see.
If you're out there
that he's
listening, get
online.
your ass in here. Come on.
Come on, man.
Oh my
Where
God.
are you? I'll send him a message on it. Let's see if he's. Otherwise, this is going to be not very good. So anyway, let's carry on with the reason why you're in here, Junior. Really nice to have you back. Obviously, I know. Here he is. There's
Here he
the man
goes.
himself.
Hey!
Mr. Big
Yes.
Knob. Oh, wait, that's someone else.
Yes, it's the man, the myth, the legend. Now, I believe it. Let me see if I got this absolutely correct, because this was brought to my attention by this young man here, by the Scotsman, that you two go way back.
We do a long, long way back.
So do you want to just bring? Go on.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a history lesson for everyone that's listening and everyone that's part of the league, because RSF1 currently stands for Racing Series Formula 1. But me, Rebster, Porter, we got our RSF tag from many, many years ago for an online clan that we used to be a part of and ended up running it. That used to play things like Ghost Recon, Raven Shield, Rogue Spear, Star Wars, Battlefront, and things like that. And Scotsman, and we're talking a good 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Scotsman was part of that clan back then on the PC. So, yeah, we go way back.
Scotsman. Scotsman. So, obviously, you joined RSF last week in Belgium, but you had your first proper race in your full-time seat and actually got a podium as well with F4, if I remember correctly.
No, it wasn't a podium. I got sixth.
Oh, you got six, did you?
Yeah. But cheers for rubbing them.
By the way, Scott, that was
A midfield
all
podium.
battling in F4.
No problem, my friend. No problem. It's all right, man. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, your Welsh is getting better, Tomo.
I know it is. It's good. It's good, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's fantastic. I have to say though, thanks very much for the torrent of abuse I got from you last night. Apparently, I got Specsavers. Is that true?
Apparently, yeah. Every 2 minutes, the rain's getting heavier. And
It was getting heavier from where I'm sitting. It was getting heavier, and I've got.
Like I said, mate, you
watching
should have
it
gone
from. I've got my
Specsavers.
boys.
Or maybe get a better TV and stop using one from 2001.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thanks, Pepper, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. No
Thanks
worries,
very much for that.
I'm always here for you.
So, Scotsman,
Yeah, mate.
you must be obviously. I know you got sixth in your last race, which, in fairness, is not a bad shout for your first full-time seat. Are you looking forward to
Buzzing,
Singapore?
mate. I was buzzing after last night. Hey, wait. Telling you, it was great.
Good. Are you actually looking forward to Singapore as well?
Well, at least I can't spin off the track that far. I'll just hit the concrete walls. No, I'm looking forward to it. I raced it, I think, on Tuesday. I had a little try of it, and I was doing a little bit better than normal. So, aye, I'm up for it.
Excellent. Junior, what are your thoughts about Singapore?
I've always tended to do fairly well at Singapore. My last league race in Singapore, I was spun, but I was up there. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent.
I've had 3 races in F4 now, and I've started third in all 3 of them. And I was close to a podium yesterday, so that's my next goal was a podium.
Well, I mean, I know that when you joined F4, there's a lot of people turning around going, hold on a minute, he's joining in F4. He was originally in F1, wasn't he, on F2, wasn't he? He was F2, wasn't he?
Yeah.
F2. F2, unfortunately you left, and to be perfectly honest, I was really pleased to see you back, and a lot of people were, so it was nice to have you back racing with us. And I
Thank you.
have to say, your pace is pretty much on F4. I was quite
Yeah,
surprised.
it is. But I'd
but-
given up on the rest of the season, and I was going to wait until next season just to get re-tiered and into a tier that my pace is suited to. But luckily for me, Robert's done a lot of homework on my pace, took all my time trial times, matched them up against two other mid-pack drivers in F4, and the times speak for themselves really. And I'm not running away with it. I'm not smashing anybody. It's where I'm supposed to be. I'm just unfortunate that I'm on this game. I've just got zero pace really.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Catching
It's,
me last Wednesday, no bother. You're catching me. You put heavy pressure on me on Wednesday. Definitely. I think that's why I spun out right in the last lap. I thought, nah, I knew you were going to beat me anyway because I had a time penalty, but I was still trying to gain that little bit extra, and I couldn't do it, man. You're fast.
I was chasing after
No, I
like
think-
a being a schoolgirl.
he was actually sitting there going, I'm going to get him. But no, I think in fairness, since you've been actually in F4, Ginny, it's actually been, like I said, it has been a pleasure having you back, and it was really good to see you back. Funny enough, Robert actually approached me and said to me, look, I've got this reserve driver that I want to get into F4, and I don't know about his times. Do you want to have a look at them? And when he showed me, I was like, yeah, he's definitely F4 without a shadow of doubt.
Yeah.
He's definitely, he's not F3. He's probably like mid to bottom pack F3, but he's definitely like mid to top end of F4. And then when I heard it was you, I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I said, Ross, I was like, are you sure? But then obviously we had a really good battle in Hungary, didn't we, between the two of us? So I was really enjoying that. So I thought, well, he's definitely F4, I have to say. So I was really impressed. So Primus, top notch, Peppermeat. Have you got any questions for the Scotsman over there or Mr. Junior?
No. I was just wondering what happened to you in the calendar when you were in F2, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
For
I
a few
started
races,
that too.
yeah. I was wondering where you went to for a couple of races, but yeah, it's nice to see you back.
The
True.
question I wanted to ask to mainly Junior, because I was going to say, at the end of the season, when we're about to work on the second season, are you hoping to stay with us for the second season, or are you maybe trying to hope to get into F3?
To be honest with you, I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. I'm just trying to concentrate on one race at a time. But
For me personally, I want him to go to F3. He's too fast for me.
Play your cards right, Scotsman. You might be knocked down to another tier if they do another one.
But to be fair though, it's,
I'm just a team hasn't got a handicap on it, man. Like a 15-second start or something.
yeah, I'll give you a rolling head start. But for myself, going into season 2, there's no aspirations for me to be in a certain tier or to be at a certain level. The guys that we've got in that work so hard and tirelessly in the background to make sure that the tiers are balanced will be better in season 2 going forward, and I'm sure they're going to do just as good a job as getting everybody in the right tier. The work that goes on in the background, just so everybody is aware, is immense, and it never stops. So to try and bring one of the best leagues out there to everybody, that's our goal, and that's what we're working towards. So
I'm enjoying it.
For me personally, good. I hope that's the general consensus around the entirety of the league. Obviously, we can't please everyone all the time. We understand that, and I hope everyone else understands that as well. But we do the best we can to make sure it's all good for everyone. So
Yeah, doing a good
I
job.
have to say, I mean, I have to say, I mean, obviously, I've raced in quite a number of leagues in the past. XRL, another level, all that sort of stuff and everything. But I have to say, the way this has been run, this league, I mean, you guys have done an exceptional job with all the work you've done in the background. Not only just all
You're welcome.
yeah, shut up.
It's all me.
Right. Yeah, mate. I mean, if we look at it in this point of view, we've got, there's obviously the main five, the original five, which obviously was yourself, Porter, Bodder, Rebster, and I believe it was 4 as well, who was the original 5 who decided to sit down and go for this. I did say Shane. And in fairness, since then, it's just been growing and growing and growing. There was talk about 3 tiers, then it turned to 4, and I think it's been really good with the 4 tiers. The drivers we've got coming through, there's a classic one here, Scotsman, new driver coming in, did a really good job. Quaker Oats as well. We've had people that have raced with us in the past, Ben being one of them, Monster Skyline, Brundle as well, just to name a few. Primus obviously joined us and never raced the leagues again before. Peppermeat we've raced before, and so was Top Notch. So I think this league is turning a few heads, and you've got to give. I've got to say, well done, Junior. I think all of you have done an exceptional job. So well done.
No, much appreciated. I just want to give a big shout out to a few of the names that you mentioned there: Bodder, Porter, Shane, Rebster, and also massive shout out to Roberts and 4, because especially those two, the work that they have done in the background is phenomenal, and we really wouldn't be where we are right now without them. But then also to everyone that's got a role within the league, we really do appreciate the voluntary efforts that everyone puts in to do it. And if anyone is interested in a role in the league, then please put yourself forward, message myself or any of the committee members, get in touch with us, and we'll see what we've got available. Let us know what you can do, and then we'll try and find a place for you, especially moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I have spoken to Shane off record.
Sorry to hear that, Tom.
Stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was hellish. It was really hellish. It was tough. It was very tough. I mean, it's bad enough having to listen to that Scouse accent over the Xbox Live, but listen to it on the phone. But no, he's all right. Bless him. But would you be willing, Junior, that if something big was going to happen for next season, that you would be quite happy to come on the podcast? Obviously, let me know in advance and announce it on the podcast, and obviously, and do it that way. Would you be interested? Would you be willing to do something like that?
Yeah, myself or any of the committee members would be more than interested in doing that.
Excellent, brilliant. I'm actually very pleased to hear that. So, but moving on, we are coming up to the end of our podcast, unfortunately. So I'd like to say thank you very much for our special guest. It's a shame that Rebster couldn't join us, and I know he did send me a message earlier. He was kind of trying to get back for 8:30, but obviously couldn't. So thank you very much, Junior. Much appreciated to have you, and as I said, it's a pleasure having you back. No problem at all. Scotsman, good to see you back here again. And obviously, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're out and about because I can hear you on the phone. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I was actually about to say my question to Scott would be: are you in the car?
I think he is.
I'm in the van actually. I'm meant to be out delivering a washing machine, but
it's not the washing machine.
Wait, before we go, I better get the Williams on the
I'll
screen.
do your fucking washing machine. Fuck you.
I just got a phone call from them the other now, and I just hung up on them, and I just put on a call.
You go. Well, you go sort out that washing machine, dude, and we'll see you next week in Singapore. All right. So well done, buddy. But yeah, thank you so much for it, guys. See you later, buddy. Thank you very much for joining us. Much appreciated. So anyway, so that's all I've got. All we've got to say for tonight on the actual podcast. So I'd like to say is thank you very much to Primus. Thank you very much to Peppermeat. Thank you very much to Top Notch as well. And obviously, thank you very much to our 2 special guests, Junior and obviously Scotsman. Thank you everybody that's actually been on the live stream. Before
we end,
I
would like to say,
God, here we go.
I don't think we've actually taken this moment to do it.
Don't draw down
thank
the one
you
there
to Tomo.
Spiral.
No.
What?
A thank you to you for making this happen, because obviously everyone's been having a great time, listening to the podcast. We've had a lot of great laughs, especially with the Scottish episode. More future ones to come. So I have to say, everyone, I'd like to just give some mad respect to Tomo, because he's the one who made this happen. Because, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing podcasts every Friday. We wouldn't have me, Top Notch, Peppermeat, and him in the parties together, delivering the news, going on to stuff. So, big respect to Tomo for making this happen.
I appreciate that, and thank you so much. But the actual thanks you need to give for the podcast, really, for the birth of the podcast, is actually the committee members, because they're the ones that actually talked about it, and apparently they all voted unanimously that they wanted me to run it. And
it's your baby.
Anyway, and it is my baby. Yes, it is. And in fairness, they've given me free reign to do, to obviously, to run it how I see fit. And that's the reason why I've got you three guys here, because I think the four of us, we've got a good, good banter between the four of us. We have a good laugh. We get through quite a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we're going to get some more viewers coming through. We've got some special things coming through as I said, not next week, but the week after, we've got the Remembrance Sunday podcast. I don't know if you ever heard that, actually, Junior, if you're still here. We're doing a Remembrance Sunday. Well, we're doing a special podcast, not this week coming, but the following week, because obviously we've got Remembrance Sunday coming up. We're actually going to do a special podcast to remember those who actually fell, fighting for the wars in World War I and World War II, obviously. We've got a Irish-themed podcast. We've got a German-themed podcast. We've got a Christmas-themed podcast coming up. So I'm just literally trying to get guests together, trying to get things together and stuff like that. So, but like I said, if it wasn't for the three of these boys helping me out as well, the podcast wouldn't be where it is. So, well done to you three as well. So thank you very much for that promise. I have to say, it was very kind of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're welcome,
Definitely.
dude. As well as the committee making it happen, you've done really well to maintain. There was a couple of times where you weren't able to make it, but it still kept running strong. So yeah, got to give the respect where it's due.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Sorry, I promise. I can't do this liking you too much. Come on, let's get back with this. Get off of one day and stop. Get off one day and stop proposing to certain. There you go. That's more like it. There you go. I feel better now.
There you go.
We're back at home.
How's the
We're
weather
back
in Kent today,
There you
Tom?
go. Huh?
How's the weather in Kent today?
Well, I don't know, but apparently it's very cold in Essex because it was minus 39. Whoa!
Whoa!
Right. Oh, yeah, I went down there. I went down there, yeah. Trust me. Unfortunately, we have to, obviously, everybody's heard about what happened in, in my home county of Essex. Some Irishman, apparently was driving a truck from Boggo. Well, yeah, Grace is in Essex.
Sorry, I thought you said Essex then. You have hometown
Not Essex,
Kent.
you done that.
Sorry, my bad.
Essex, my home county of Essex. It's still ongoing as we speak. So, unfortunately, we lost a life. So, our prayers go to all the family and friends of people that obviously knew them. I know they haven't been identified yet, but it's not really nice to see stuff like that happen, unfortunately. But moving on. So anyway, like I said, thank you so much for watching the podcast tonight, and hopefully we'll get some more views from myself, RSF1 Tomo, from Primus, from Top Notch, from Peppermint, and of course from RSF1 Junior. I'd like to say thank you and good evening.
See you lads.